Eating now. Got a little haul video here from a guy from work. Just some reloading stuff that he gave me. Good 2A supporter. He's ex-Marine. Big thumbs up there. Support your fellow veterans, guys. He's a good friend. Hand loader, shooter, tournament shooter. He shoots 1,000-yard competitions. Also shoots tactical competitions. He knows his stuff around guns for sure. Just going over some cool stuff he happened to drop by. He noticed I was having some issues with 300 blackout. Taught me through it. Talked over some data at work one day, like 3 or 4 times. Go figure. Went over the phone for over almost an hour. But he's a good friend. Somebody I met just talking about guns at work. But it's nice to have somebody that you can lean on when you need it. First thing I was happy to get from him, new spring and plunger for my AR to fix that problem with mine that broke. Here's mine. Its spring's bent. Plunger's still good. The plunger I might put back in my gun, but his, it's nice to have a new one to fix that issue. Well, guys, get that part back installed in my gun. And we got one problem with it. Install that part. He gave me plunger and spring. Let it set how I originally had it. Charged the handle. Just whoop, and bent that spring he gave me. I didn't adjust the power tube just enough forward, and it popped the spring back out again with the plunger. So I went back and took the stock off because that's a fixed stock. Adjusted the tube, replaced that spring with my spring, and used his plunger, and so far it's working. I can charge that handle file now. Just boom, 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 repeatedly, no problem, no ejecting part. So we fixed that spring, but we had to use my spring that was just slightly bent with a new plunger. I could have used my plunger and just made an adjustment, and I would have had a problem. But stuff happens. That's his spring. One slam of the darn, pull back on that darn charging handle, and whoop, goodbye spring. I mean, stuff happens in this world with guns. Live and learn. And guys, he's built a lot of ARs over time. I think he's over 600 of them so far. He does work for a custom gun shop. He also does powder coating and Cerakoting. He also makes custom holsters at Codex. He's into a little bit of everything, guys. Here's some of his custom loads. They're 5.56 press, 300 blackout. He just needed just to take a shot out and try. He gave me the data for these bullets in the load. 5.56 press, resized 300 blackout. They're loaded with 150 grain full metal jacket. These are military surplus bullets. He's getting almost one whole group set of these out of his 16-inch barrel. And he also shoots some out of his 8-inch. This is the load I was loading before, and I had some issues with it. This is his load. It's 110 VMAX. CCI primers. You can tell, Lake City brass, resized. This is loaded with little gun. Those are also loaded with little gun. So he uses his little gun for the most part for his supers. This one paired to mine. This one he's loading with 19 grains little gun, where mine were 19.7 grains. So that might be one of my issues. Maybe I'm loading a little hot, but it's still within book spec, because book specs I get 21, so right around that 2021 mark. So mine should be warm, but not too hot. And again, I think I might have been at 19.4. It's somewhere in that 19 range, but not right at 19. He's also seating these way shorter than mine, and it looks like a little bit less cramped than mine. I was seating mine at way over length. Mine are at magazine length. They still fed in my gun, still shot, but I was over pressuring. Had over pressures, then normal pressures, and one that was just on the borderline going into high pressure. But he's really functional on his gun. These are seated at 19. Not 19, they're seated at 2.40, where mine are way long. He said maybe jamming mine into my lands. He said this is where his doesn't jam at all in his lands, and it shoots like super tight grips. So he gave me one to try versus mine, or one to compare mine to, because I took some of mine. I took one of my hand loads, my 110s, and showed him, and he compared it to this at work and measured it, and he's like, "You're way too long." You're jamming your lands, and that could be causing all your problems with your gun while you're over pressuring. You're jamming your lands. So that might be my issue. Maybe I'm jamming my lands up and crimping too tight. We use the same identical dies, RCBS dies. He told me how he sets his up, and I think that's maybe where my thing is. I'm not seating far enough, and I'm not crimping. I'm crimping way too tight, probably. He also gave me these. These are homemade gas checks. He made himself a gas check maker, or gas check die. He's punching them at a copper. It's not the same copper we make at work. It is the same copper, but it's not our copper that I know of. These are his 150 grain cast bullets. They're made out of linotype. Super hard. These are from an NOE mold. Gas checked. He said these things shatter on impact. I'm not sure. I've never shot any of these yet. But he said they shattered on impact when he shoot it. He shoots them at steel. He says 8-inch really loves these, and his 16-inch really loves these. He runs them usually for competition, and runs them for just average plinking rounds. Again, guys, just a short video here. Some stuff from a friend. It's nice to have friends in a 2A. Us 2A brothers support each other no matter what. Always willing to help each other. And that's what we need. A lot of guys want to help each other right now. Especially with the turn of times and what's going on right now. As always, guys, support the Second Amendment, freedom of speech. Love everybody.